All right, guys, we are live. Hopefully, you're having a great Friday afternoon or evening here. It's about 9 o'clock, a little bit later on the Pacific today. Um, we just have a few things we want to go over today. I'm really excited to cover some stocks. My voice sounds kind of weird. Just had some chocolates with my wife, some Kinders, and I guess I'm allergic to hazelnut. Who knew? So when it comes down to, I sound like I have helium. That's hilarious. Um, I already saw some comments from you guys. We got APLD. Someone's wondering about that stock. Let's take a look. One of the valuable uh, parts of the AI industry are going to be, thank you, data centers, semiconductors, quantum computing, probably power sources like nuclear energy, or which sources are going to bring the most energy to be able to run those data centers, or different, let's say, GPUs or QPUs. So that's a good call out there from Tristan. He says, take a look at APLD. APLD, if I'm not mistaken, is Applied Digital. They specialize in building data centers for companies like NVIDIA, and they actually build the actual data center. They don't necessarily have their own semiconductors or anything like that, but they do have their recent earnings came out, and I believe they were maybe not doing too hot. So you can see the epicenter of AI is built here. So they're focusing on building data centers, the actual construction of data centers. And then on top of that, if you just take a look through what they focus on, it's also the energy sources for those data centers. So engineered to bring workloads directly to the point of generation. That's pretty cool. So like what? Wind, water, solar, all that stuff. What do you guys think about APLD as far as what they're bringing to the table? That's the first thing. The second thing is the financials. So APLD stock recently sold off yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right? Had a really big dip on April 14th. It's actually doing okay. $1 billion market cap. We know that they work with a lot of companies on building data centers. But take a look here. So revenue, 52 million in the quarter, 63 million. They're having good revenue. One thing to note about them as a company is that they recently just offered what is it? Public shares. So if you go to investors, latest news, April 30th, Applied Digital enters into a $150 million convertible preferred equity facility to advance deployment of Ellendale multi-building HPC campus. I'm not sure exactly what that campus is or what the purpose of it is, but they have a $150 million newly created series of convertible preferred stock to the investors. Value purchase price of $1,000 per share. All I'm going to say here is that those are not things that necessarily are going to hurt the company, but definitely some investors might say, why are they raising capital? Why do they need the cash? And then they look at the financials and they might say that net income, it was better the last quarter, but it still had some shaky quarters where we saw big net income negative. And so that's the only thing that probably shake investors on APLD. So they did have a pretty big sell-off there on April 14th, down to $3, and then they recently recovered up to $5. And let's take a look here. Someone says, I charted when the caught the knife, been trading since $3. Charted her every day, also at KORZ. Same business, but strong books. Yeah, take a look at that, Sammy. Thanks so much. So again, if you guys are just tuning in and my voice sounds weird, it's because I ate some chocolate that I'm allergic to. But hey, Friday night, we're kind of hanging out. This is what we recently had mapped out for APLD. I was never fully bullish. There is a way you could look at APLD and say, this is a downtrend. Look at that. It's about to get rejected maybe and sell back down. But we kind of had a little more of an aggressive bullish approach to the company when we were looking at it. Take a look back 1 year, they've had this kind of trend happen where, excuse me, they are having this uptrend where they've been swinging between, $1.50 up to $11, back down to $2.30, up to $12, then recently down to $3. And kind of the move that we, would be looking for on APLD. We know they build data centers. I believe it's for NVIDIA and some others. And so one of the things is like AI and building data centers, I don't believe is going anywhere. I see them improving. If investor sentiment agrees and we start to see that move, like we're seeing this validation, this bounce here, that would be the swing. It's about 100% increase up to that previous level at which it is kind of trending. So, the risk to reward, it seems like it's got a little bit lower risk. Start to see the RSI recover and the MACD from being oversold. And so, yeah, Sammy, I mean, when you're looking at it from a $3 entry, it's not too bad. It looks like you're in a good position. And yeah, appreciate that, Tristan, for calling it out. That's the move, about 100%. Now, in the event that it doesn't get bullish, there's this other possibility that it does continue down here, right? There's this trend that you can map out right there, which happens, inside of the overall trend, of the overall uptrend. There is a downtrend right here, and it's up here. All we're looking for is really just that confirmation to see it break above about $5.50 or $6 would indicate more bullish momentum and maybe some more confidence there. I don't know if you guys saw the thumbnail. It was probably a green thumbnail. It has something like the markets could be prone to growth, and it's like $0 and 10K, something like that on the other side. I have that because in the very near future, we're going to be running a 10K tariff challenge that involves investing based on the tariffs and trading. How we've been trading the tariffs, we've had some really good returns. Some of the examples, just looking on our P&Ls over here, SOXL is up 10%, TSLL is up 5%, NVIDIA is doing okay. But a lot of our swings we've been playing have played out fairly good. And part of it is because of the tariffs and reacting to some of the market movements in ways that are a little more, I would say, near-term risky or maybe swing trade type of trades, but a little more like on the aggressive side, but not fully aggressive, not day trading. Like we've done some swing trading that has done pretty good. So that's going to do it for APLD. That's the move we could see. But I bring that up because of the thumbnail. Yeah, I think that's going to be a fun challenge we got coming up. So looks like Shad Reyes says, can you do a Tesla analysis? Sure, and let me know, if I'm going to open it up here, let me know what you think about Tesla as well. Let's take a look here. Tesla, it's exciting to watch Tesla at this time of year. So, like, funny story, right around May of last year, let's go back to it, was right here. There was this really, really big swing in the summer right after May, right around this time. I don't know if you guys see it. And this is what happened. Tesla sold off big, and then in January started to recover a little bit, and then just right around May, it started to rocket. And this was one of our biggest trades of the year last year. This is it was a 75% trade that I made. Tesla went up 85%, but we were trading TSLL. So if you guys are familiar, this is the stock that goes up 2% every time Tesla goes up 1%. And take a look in this May swing right here. We were able to capitalize on 75% or 79%, something like that. It was one of our biggest trades. It's what allowed us to have 109% return on our portfolio last year. And up here on TSLL, it was 143%, which is pretty huge swing. So right now we see Tesla, it's sold off from highs. Now it's finding some support. It's down here. It's May like it was last year. Not to say that that's correlated. That's highly speculative, of course. But looking at the recent push up above the EMA, starting to maybe see some momentum. And let's not forget, if they actually announce the full self-driving cars, what's going to happen? You're going to take Uber and it's going to be a Tesla picking you up with no driver. You know, like, have you guys seen Waymo? How you go to, like, I just went to Phoenix last month for the quantum computing conference on D-Wave, QBTS. Got to meet the CEO. Super cool conference. Got to even jump on stage for a bit there with the Quantum Bull. And when we were there, the main thing that we noticed was, like, outside of the quantum tech that we've jumped into and we love to share that stuff, it was the Waymos. The Waymos were driving us from the airport to anywhere in Arizona. They're in San Francisco, they're in LA, they're moving into Miami and New York as well. And yeah, is it crazy on the streets of San Fran or New York? It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But if the self-driving gets so good that it really does recognize all these things and it can do it, Tesla has a huge upside fundamentally because of that, because of all of the Teslas they already have out there and the potential. So with that being said, what if we see a move here on Tesla? That would be about a 274% increase if we see previous highs. I wouldn't expect that, but let's say it starts to get into an uptrend a little bit. Maybe we see it push back up into this level. That just up to this level it was about a month ago. Could be about 27% increase here, 15 to 20% on TSLL. When it comes to Tesla, they recently reported earnings and not too hot on the earnings. Their market cap dropped pretty significantly after reporting some misses on revenue and earnings per share. Their net income dropped to just $409 million on the quarter, and their revenue was holding at $19 billion. Now, the revenue was pretty steady at $25 billion, and then just recently in the last quarter one of 2025, really dropped down about to from 25 billion down to 19 billion in revenue. So the revenues dropped. I do know that there's other parts of Tesla that aren't specifically Tesla that are growing, like Starlink, for example, like SpaceX. And, you know, they could have downtime, they could have down quarters, and it doesn't really matter if they continue to build the type of technology that they're building. We could see Optimus robots working at McDonald's. You know, we could see Tesla's driving people around. Will they take the Tesla? Will they boycott it? Like, that's a question. But at the end of the day, if it's bringing value to the world and it's actually making a difference, changing the way that, making it easier for Tesla drivers to, or people that own Teslas to make a living by renting out their Tesla as robotaxis, or someone to get a cheaper ride and get from point A to point B and just take an Uber as, I mean, that's one level. Then they got the battery tech. Then they got their semiconductors that they're building. Then they got the XAI that they have, the data centers that gives them an advantage over other tech companies that rely on NVIDIA. Now Tesla has GPUs and they have NVIDIA setups, but they also are building their own. And I think from a manufacturing perspective, they got the robots building stuff, which gives them an advantage. They operate similar to that of the most innovative in China, for example. And those are the types of companies that are going to see a lot of advancements. So long term, really good. Short term, take a look at it. It's looking like it's maybe at a resistance. It could break out. I think when we're looking at TSLA, which I'll take a look at what you guys just said in the chat in a second. How many of you guys just want to get a quick fundamental or technical analysis here on Tesla? Let's take a look. So is that cool? I'm going to do that. Give you guys a quick technical analysis on Tesla. This is the recent kind of trend that we saw break a little bit, and that's the last month and a half. It's this bullish uptrend. But if you take, let's say, a 3-month outlook, you can kind of see these levels starting to become more clear. Let me make this like a bright white. Is that better? There you go. Bright white is easy to see. And then you have this resistance right here. You guys see that? So right now, Tesla has been consolidating from left to right really since back in early March, from left to right. See it sell down to the $210 price point, push up to 294, sell back to 208, push up here to about 280, sell back down to 220, and now it's back up. These are the price levels. It's at 288. If we start to see Tesla break above, let's say, this $300 range, what do we know? When it's broken above $300, there's a very strong chance that it will recover pretty strongly after that. So if you take, let's say, from year to date, yeah, it looks like a sell-off, but just recently with this consolidation, this is the 3 stages to a reversal. From bottom, right? You have one direction, then you have the consolidation, and then what comes next? The reverse in the opposite direction. So Tesla right now is consolidating from left to right in a slightly bullish outlook. Just broke above that 200-day moving average. What do we know about that green line? It acts as a resistance when we're in bear, and when we're bull, it's acting as a support. You see that when it's bullish? So right now, it just broke above that green line, and it's kind of steady. It pushed above, it validated it, then it pushed up more. And now the question is, do we see the market maybe correct back down one more time before its V-shaped pattern, right? So maybe see that sell off. Or do we see Tesla actually consolidate here, maybe break out of this on Monday and then start to find new levels? If we do, and we start to see this type of movement up into this range, it's about a 50 to 70% increase if it's able to do that. Now, it would be buying what could be. It would probably be based on some news that would really strike catalyst outside of just investor sentiment. They're going to need some news, maybe some policy that allows them to do robotaxi fully in Austin. That's what they're expecting to have this summer. So we'll see if that actually plays out here in June. That's even what they're saying, I believe, in their earnings call. And so if that actually happens, we could see a huge breakout there. And what is that? A 70% increase on the stock. Let's just call it up into this level. Maybe 340, which seems to be a previous support, which could act as a resistance right there. You guys see that level there right here. Previous support. So that would be the next level to kind of get to. And if it reaches that level, it's about a 14% increase from current prices, which on TSLL would be about a 30% increase. So Tesla, little bit of upside there. There is risk right here. It looks overextended as well. It could sell down. So if you do get into it, just make sure you have a trading plan. Like, know where you'd stop, where would you sell, and where you plan to take profits. And we'll be doing that most likely. We traded TSLL a few times this week and had some profitable trades doing so. And you can see we actually have a position open right now up 5%, but we had a few positions where we made about $500 to $1,000 early in the week, and that was in our live sessions in Stockmate, which we have each and every morning. So that we'll see if that one is one that comes up on Monday. Cool. So Sammy says, check the SPY monthly MACD if you know how the indicator works. The last time we crossed was in 2022, and look at the MACD now. A lot more downside incoming. Yeah, I mean, that's possible. Even if there is downside coming, simply prepare for it, right? If, like, what do we have? SOXS and SOXL. If semiconductors get hit, which they did get hit pretty hard a little bit ago, we go over to SOXS. Like, what happened when this big market sell-off happened, right? This was a huge market sell-off. It was 150% increase over on SOXS. So it's like, if the market sells off, there's still opportunities in the near term. And then for those of you like myself, and I mean, all of you guys, if you're investing long term, there's great buying opportunities in the market for the long-term accumulation. But in the near term, like, there's so many opportunities, I believe, to trade and swing regardless of if the market goes up or down. And that's one of the things that we focus on pretty often on the channel too. I mean, part of these are sometimes you guys bring me, I'm putting a put on this, or but I don't do that many puts. Sometimes we do puts. We got a little put going on there on KULR, which I can't wait to do an update video on. But anyway, we'll talk about it. That one's interesting because we've been really bullish on it, but some of the news articles were bogus. So anyway, that's something to focus on. And then at the same time, we got APLD. The other one that we wanted to cover was RCAT. We've done a couple of videos on RCAT. I don't know if we still have our drawings. What was our do we have drawings still? No, we don't. But RCAT just broke above this green 200-day moving average, starting to look more bullish. Had a massive 18% day today. Still looking a little bearish overall. Kind of see these levels here. So I wouldn't necessarily say that it's in full breakout territory. There is this downtrend that's happening that you could kind of see from these highs right here, the support, lowering support right there. So it looks like maybe it's going to sell down, but it's built some revenue, or it's built some equity, because what was it at? It was just at $1, shot up to 15. Now it's at 5.95. They do drone tech, and they got some partnerships. I think they have a partnership with Palantir, if I'm not mistaken. $538 million market cap. So that's the second thing we look at with the company. Starting to see that push up recently. But when it comes down to their financials, if I'm not mistaken, they weren't looking too hot. I think that's why we didn't cover them recently. There it is. Yeah, I mean, negative net income, actually increasingly negative. That's why we don't trade them. We made a few videos on them, but increasingly negative net income is just, it's not good. I mean, look at the last October 2024, straight red. Yeah, that's the only reason. So like maybe we trade them here and there, but no, we don't do any value investing, or whenever we trade stocks, we want to find the stocks that are intrinsically valuable, right? If we're going to trade a stock, yeah, we're going to have a plan. Yeah, we have a stop loss and looking for the take profit. But at the same time, we're looking at companies that are already intrinsically growing 10, 20% year over year. And so that's one of the differences, I believe, between like finding quality investments in trades versus high risk trades, or at least higher risk than what you would get investing in the future of tech, like companies that are truly bringing in revenues and cash from AI and quantum, and space tech as well is a big one. So that's kind of how I'd see it. Yeah, DatChat stock. I'm not sure about that one. What is that? DatChat stock. I don't know what that is. DatChat. I don't know what that is. DATS. Let's take a look. Ooh, whoa. Pumpy, pumpity, pump. Yeah, I wouldn't touch it, but I'll give it a shot here. I'll give it a shot. I love that you're bringing a ticker symbol. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Just to be clear, like this does look like a pump and dump, which I wouldn't lead any investors to. Not that I lead investors to anything. We just conduct research. But DATS, DatChat, $10 million market cap, revenue $92, $151 revenue. I'm sorry, I can't. Yeah, revenue, it's just not there. All right, I'll do the full 3-point analysis because I do appreciate it. But the challenge with those is just like the intrinsic value. DatChat. We'll do the 3-point analysis. So we did the chart just now, which didn't look hot. We just did. I don't think it looked hot. How did it look? Yeah, it looks like it recently pumped and it's selling off. That's how it looks. And then the financials that we just saw were not too hot. And then let's take a look at the social network. AI generated images as seen on communication, investors, enhancing shareholder value. Last article European patent application for advanced digital privacy technology. Okay, announces strategic relationship agreement between Museum social media platform and photo managers. Yep, I wouldn't touch it. Unfortunately, any patents, quote unquote, that you get related to software are almost always going to be worked around. Like patents in software, they don't really mean anything. In fact, they're really hard to upkeep or win anything in court related to patents with software. It's kind of like painting or something like that. Like it could be like one tiny little difference in code, or it could be the exact same code but used for something slightly different. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't touch it personally. That's DatChat stock. Okay. Okay. Sam says, "Hey, what's your price target? BBAI Reddit bears looking dumb today after we closed green." That's funny. Tesla trade. Tom was 3 times older than Jerry 2 years ago, and 3. How old are they? Wait, what? Tom was 3 times older than Jerry 2 years ago. Okay. And in 3 years, Tom will be 2 times as old. How old are they? They're probably as old as Tom is growing and as young as Jerry is shrinking. 7 and 14. That's funny. Okay. Yeah, but Big Bear AI. That's crazy. So I don't follow the news literally by any other channels, any other news outlets, YouTube. We always go direct to the source. So I don't know what's going on Reddit, StockTwits. I don't know what's going on in the big Discords or what have you on Twitter or X. Most of what we do is just straight to the source. But when it comes to Big Bear AI, it sounds like there were some bears on Reddit. Yeah, man, that happens all the time. That's crazy. Let's go AMD. Yeah, AMD. We could do it. Yeah, I'll get some on there for you, Maheen. For Babber, Scuss, and Sam, wondering about Big Bear. Let's take a look real quick. I think we dropped a video earlier today on Big Bear. Is that correct? We did. It's holding levels that are key. That's what we're seeing. Big Bear AI. So, yeah, I'd recently validated this previous support and resistance right there at $2.90. And the stock dangerously came back down to the support a few times, and it bounced very strong, actually. And it's not like we said, it's not like the most sexy stock. Like it's literally defense AI. And we could do the analysis, but I can tell you they're in the defense market and they're growing really fast. And the reality is that their tech's being used. It is really good tech, and their market cap is growing, and they have partnerships with the biggest agencies in the world and in government. And recently, I went to the airport. They scanned my face, and I saw the Big Bear AI logo and everything. It's legit. It's actually getting used. So as of now, price targets for us, we're going to see if it gets up to this 377. I would imagine if it's bullish, right, we could see it retest possibly down to 291. But really, that next level for bull case is up to this 375. That's where it got rejected here and sold down. That's where it got rejected here and sold down. And it just got rejected there, sold down, but it didn't go all the way down. It actually bounced up very strong today. And now it's looking like, hey, maybe we're going to see it retest. It's a little different, actually, because the last times that it's made this run up to 375, it started from maybe 298 and it pushed up over a few days. This one started at 290 and then it pushed up over a few days up to 375. But recently, it started down here at 234 and just bulled up to $4.40 or $4.04 before selling back down a little bit. And they reported earnings which were not bad. The revenue was down, but the net income was improving quarter over quarter by about 50%. And then that's good because they recovered after earnings that they had, and then now they're pushing up. and maybe they'll retest this 375 range. It's a 10% increase to that level. If we see them break up above that level, that would be really exciting because we would see maybe some bullish momentum really continue with Big Bear. There is this resistance right here. Right here, resistance. It's at $4 and basically 60 cents. Resistance, some consolidation, and right here, kind of support as well. And that would be really the next level for Big Bear. Like if we see it break up above that $375 per share, and Big Bear can break above that resistance and then validate that resistance as a support so it can bounce, then potentially we could see this run right here continue above this level, and that would be a 38%, really a 40% increase to that next level. So that's the next level that we'd be looking at, is that $4.70 range if we get a break above 375. Right now we're targeting 375. Near term, I would say we'll see how it holds because it just bounced and validated this previous level, and we'll see if it holds. If it holds, start to see it push up maybe at market open on Monday, then we could trade it, get some more confirmation. That's a, if it's a 39% swing from here to there right now, from right here, this current price, then maybe we catch 20% of that swing, depending on how it goes. Maybe it dips down here and validates one more time and we catch it, and it might be that we catch a full 30 to 50% swing. But we'll be watching it. Long-term position we're holding. Short-term, we're not pulling the trigger just yet because it is kind of a hold as it's kind of consolidating now after the sell-off. It does look like it got some bullish momentum maybe, but it's got this bearish kind of outlook unless it can break up to there. So that's how it looks. What's up, guys? Johnny. Hey, happy to have you here. Johnny, we started the day together in Stockmates. You were there at our market live session, I believe. And then we're ended the day together here. So awesome. Happy Friday. Daryl says, thanks for commenting there. OSCR and then the THAR, or wait, what is that? Someone just said question mark. Is that what someone said? I'm not sure. Fabio says, sup, Will? What's up, Fabio? Thanks for tuning in, my man. Appreciate it. Let's go. And then Tesla Trader from Morocco says, reality is 36 months, 48 months down. Let's go. All right. $69, $69.99 buy, and AMD to 115. Oh, that's right. So before we get into Daryl's OSCR, which I hear you, Daryl, we'll get into it. You take a quick look at Moheen's call out there for AMD. AMD stock. So AMD surged up about 2.5% today, which is great. I have some long-term holds there in AMD stock. As you can see, it's maybe going to validate this level. We talked time and time again about how key this level is here that it's got here. It's this overall uptrend with AMD. And we're saying, can it validate this $80 price point? It validated it. It shot up today at one point to $100 a share. So starting to maybe recover. Couple things to note. It's been in this trend. I think it's about time to break out. It just shot up above that EMA. It's been really pushing out. And if it comes to the three-step analysis for AMD, the chart, right? The first thing with the chart, you can see this is the swing we'd look for. It's about 100% increase near term, or really long term, right? In the next maybe month, 2 month, 3 month. But if the market, let's say, gets hit with more tariffs, so we won't get into the news just yet, but let's say that the downward momentum continues, then right now it does have this overall trend that doesn't look bullish, right? You can see it right here. It's got this downtrend right now inside of the overall trend, and this level right here, support, and you can see that it has this trend. So it's like, oh, is it overextended? The RSI now is going to continue down and drop to lower lows. That's what you have to watch out for if you're going to trade it. So the chart right now what we look for is essentially, you got these levels over here, which I'm going to draw a little bit neater. Let me get rid of this. If we see the bull cases, you get a break above these levels, this previous resistance and support at around $98 a share, which it just broke above. And if we start to see it push up above 98 or $100, then the recovery up to there right here is previous resistance, about a 24% recovery and a breakout confirmation. So we would see it, this previous resistance right here, resistance, support would be the next level it would have to reach. It's about a 25% increase for current prices. And that's the type of swing that we'd want to see to really start to see it retest that 200-day moving average, that green line that we want to see it above for bullish momentum. We want to see it above that green line, and it's got to really make a 25% run up to about $125 a share, $125 per share. And if it breaks above there, it's around the 200-day moving average, which would indicate some nice momentum, and that's when we could start to see maybe a breakout. If we get that breakout and it really does play that way, then we're seeing maybe a 50 to 100% upside for AMD. But as of right now, the only target we could look at is really that 25% swing to this previous support and resistance that we can identify there. So that's how AMD looks on the chart. When it comes to the technicals, or the news, which is the second part of our analysis, there's not a whole lot I'll go into. I'll tell you, Starlink is something. You got AMD providing internet connectivity for Starlink because they have their AMD Versal custom chips that are being used to process data and enable features like beaming cellular data to smartphones on the ground. So directly from AMD, they announced that partnership a few months ago. Could be really good for AMD's revenue. And thanks again, guys. We're almost at 20K subs. When I search AMD Starlink and I see our videos here first, like, that means a lot. Like, I'm really grateful for you guys. Man, appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay, that's awesome. And then so you got AMD stock. The financials were looking good. That's all you need to know, really. AMD stock financials. That was the craziest part about the recent sell-offs with AMD, is that they've beat their revenue and they've seriously beat their earnings per share. They beat their revenue. It's up 24% year over year, quarter over quarter. It's up, and their revenue is increasing. I mean, look at it, quarter over quarter, billions of dollars. It's increasing by billions of dollars. And for some reason, right, investor sentiment hasn't kicked in, but I'm continuing to buy the dip, and I'm going to continue to trade it. If we do trade it at market open or something like that, maybe see a nice dip that we buy, we do trade AMDL oftentimes, which goes up or down 2% every time that AMD goes up 1% or down 1%. So essentially, we might get, in the intraday, a lot of moves happen recently. You can see the uptrend there. Right here at market open, see this big dip right at 6:30 a.m. Pacific time. That's where a lot of times we look for those moves to play out. You wait for a little confirmation, maybe a break above the EMA right there. And a lot of times that's where we end up making the moves, is at market open. So 6:30 a.m. there on April 30th. Right here, you can see right around 6 a.m. it started to maybe dip a little bit, but then pushed up throughout the day today. So those are the moves we'll be watching for sure. Okay, so you got OSCR, and Fabio says, so many gaps to fill for AMD. Yeah, I could see it, but you're still super bullish on AMD. I love that. Major issue is that Wall Street just looks at AMD as watered down NVIDIA. Someone says, Fabio says, super cheap. Yeah, it's not watered down NVIDIA. They are legit. Why would Starlink choose AMD over NVIDIA? That's the question. All right, the next stock you guys were wondering about is OSCR. Let's take a look real quick. Take a quick look. Let me know why you're interested. That helps. OSCR, Oscar Health. Take a step back. We got 1 year. Interesting. I like I like some of this. Okay, let's take a look. OSCR stock. $3.3 billion market cap, so kind of bigger. Any idea why their recent earnings had such a negative net income? They've had such good net income leading up to that. They had huge net income, and then recently their net income was down a lot. That's interesting. So they're beating their revenues, beating their earnings per share, and then recently, while their revenue has increased in the billions of dollars year over year 67%, the net income went down about 153 million that quarter. Let's see. Let's see. They dropped the net income. Let's see. Was due to several factors, including higher medical loss ratio, increased spending. Okay, that's normal. Challenges with risk adjustment settlements. Part of it was because they invested more in sales, general and administration expenses, which impacted their short-term profitability. Okay, they did fall short. They're investing back in their company, multi-billion-dollar company, pretty big bet right there to invest that much money in one quarter. But maybe they're okay. I mean, their net income was 177 million in one quarter, just a few quarters ago. So financials don't look bad, except for that last net income. Revenue's good, billions of dollars and increasing. Profit margins good, up 38% year over year. Let's take a look. Okay, so that's how the financials look. I'm curious about the company. Health insurance, okay. Yep, that's going to be a profitable one. Savings with $3 meds, okay. Something like that. Brokers, providers, services, about us, investors, newsroom. Okay, we got new health insurance options. They're expanding into many different countries, or sorry, states, from Ohio, Tennessee, Kansas City. Okay, so they're expanding into new states. Other than that, I mean, that's all you see, and they got good revenues. I don't invest in health insurance because I don't personally believe in a lot of health insurance. If I need something done, I go to another country and get it done, or I just pay out of pocket. It's actually costs the same a lot of times in most cases, unless you're doing some major surgery. But like a lot of times, yeah, it's not an industry that I personally like or invest in most cases. At least I don't think I do. Gotta probably double check my portfolio. Is Microsoft in health? I don't know. But at the end of the day, yeah, I personally would invest in it. Intrinsically, it seems like they're doing good, but just to say we're investing in more sales and research, and that's why our net income went from positive 200 million to negative 150 million. That's kind of a weird thing, right? What did they spend? $300 on research and $300 million on research and development. I mean, like, I don't know. Seems kind of weird in today's age to spend that much on research and development and sales. Like, I don't know. Maybe they're using quantum computers. Not really sure. They should say, I mean, they said sales. Yeah, I don't know. Use ChatGPT. Right? I don't know. That's interesting. Overall uptrend looks good as of recently. If you look back to 2023, they recently pulled down. They're bearish. They pulled below the 200-day moving average. And that level right there, you know, you're starting to see them sell off a little bit. Recently pushed up today. Overall uptrend looks good, but basically the last 160 days, 200 days looks negative, or at least bearish. See this downtrend starting to happen right here. You can see it pretty clearly. There, boom, boom, boom. See that? But if you're playing the downtrend, maybe, you know, there's that swing right here. Assuming these aren't huge over extensions, which they possibly could be classified as that. But maybe that's the trend, and you see it push up here into this $17 or $18 range. It'd be about a 36% increase which is a pretty nice margin for profit and looks like a lot lower risk than other times when you might buy into the stock. So overall trends like at the support, maybe less risk. Upside maybe looks a little bit bigger. It's personally not a stock that I would necessarily invest in right now, though. Just, yeah, because of the company in general. But, well, yeah, sometimes. Sometimes we buy companies, but usually, like I say, it comes down to intrinsic value um, and also our own moral values. Anyway, I like it. Hopefully that was helpful for you. Cool. We just did DatChat suck a second ago, and the consensus was they had like $80 in revenue and you shouldn't touch them, or I wouldn't touch them. Hymns. Oh, this, you guys are bringing me all the pumps. I don't, like I said, I don't cover pumps, and also I personally don't watch other YouTubers quite often at all or anything like that. A lot of it we go straight to the source. But we can do it. I'll do the analysis for you guys. How many guys want to see me do an analysis on a pump? How many of you guys, would that be cool? Say yes or no. Someone says second on him, so there's 2 people. I don't want to be disrespectful. I respect that you guys are looking into it. Let's take a look at hymns. And let's take a look at hymns and hers health. All right, so they got a 3.7 star rating. What's up with that? Just kidding. Okay, regrow your hair, lose weights, have better sex, tackle anxiety, get smooth skin. We have a pill for everything. Anything that you want, we have a pill for it. Oh my gosh. So pharmaceutical stocks are interesting. I just don't personally invest. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but like I grew up. Oh, you guys really want to see this? Everybody's like, yes, yes, yes. All right, I'll do it. But let me tell you a quick story. I grew up in a household where my mom used to own a store where they were called Halo Health Alternatives for All Locals. And she had teas, she had natural medicines, natural essential oils, alternative medicines. And I grew up with all alternative medicines growing up. I would get a big cut doing something like running at a soccer game and cutting my knee on some bleacher, and then my mom would take some comfrey and some other yarrow and put it on there and seal it up, and it would be good in a few days. Like, I've seen the power of plants, right? I would get busted right in the lip when I was playing quarterback in high school, and I got hit in the mouth, and I wasn't actually the starting quarterback. I was backing up, and I actually started at wide receiver and like punt returner and stuff like that. But I got hit right in the mouth, and it was a huge gash. I put some yarrow in there in the morning, and in 2 days, it was sealed up. My whole team and my coaches were like, you should have got stitches. How did you do that? That's the power of plants. So I believe personally in either fasting or like not having any medicine like this. So it's really just something that I could cover, and we could take a look. Because there are certain times when this type of medicine makes sense. Like, it's your only option. You need something really strong. It makes sense. So I'll take a look at it. Overall, it looks like they have a lot of solutions. FDA regulated pharmacies, medication kits prescribed by licensed providers, get personalized treatment. Kind of seems like that get better or get help, or what is that? Better help. That personalized therapist that's online, like through your through Zoom. Kind of feels like that. Like, you get on a Zoom call, they basically say, here's what you're eligible for, and then they send you your medications without you having to go physically into a doctor. Kind of seems like what it is for. And then when it comes down to their financials, you can take a look. They have $9.1 billion in market cap. Let's take a look at the actual revenues. That's a huge market cap. Revenues actually not too bad. Actually lining up with their valuation. Their revenue is about $480 million a quarter. Looks like their revenues are slowly increasing. They're up 95% year over year, so they are a cash cow. Their net income's 26 million though, so they're spending a ton of money on like marketing or something. That's a really poor net income. So they are not a cash cow. That's a very poor net income compared to like how much revenue they're bringing in my eyes, per quarter. Um, but that's okay. It's the overall they look very green, and it looks very satisfying to look at their financials. Earnings per share, 14% beat, revenue beat, so they're beating earnings, and they look really good financially. Their site looks pretty good. It seems like something that they would have success with, and all power to them if they're having success and actually people are finding a lot of value in their work. When it comes to their chart, we could break it down. It looks like more or less of an overall uptrend. Okay, so I couldn't say they're a pump actually if they are at the levels that they're at. What you could see here is they had a big overreaction spike, which I do believe would be an overreaction for their price. Their market cap right now seems very normal, if not a tiny bit overvaluated, which in this case would mean that was an overreaction based on their financials. And this right here, maybe we see it consolidate. A conservative approach would be a sell down, saying it's overextended. Take a look at the RSI, the MACD, everything's looking overextended, and then it could sell back down here to this $25 range. That's how I would see it, just from an overextension standpoint, overall trend. You see that support and resistance, and kind of discounting that huge surge up there in February that seemed to be a little bit misaligned with their actual real world value. But the bullish case would be they break above this level at $42, and they could kind of hold, possibly getting up in this $50 range. But that would be, there's not really any other indication that that would happen unless they have something major in their catalysts, which we didn't really go into their investor side of things, but we got to look at their financials and their overall site. So when it comes down to HIMS, I won't be investing in it. Maybe if it dropped down to $26 and I had a change of heart in their overall company, then I would probably buy. Hope that makes sense. All right, so somebody used their shampoo and it's amazing. I don't know that it was the same company. I mean, maybe. I'm not. Doesn't quite seem like they specialize in that. I think that's a different. Maybe you're thinking of hers. Oh, you said hers shampoo. Okay, so maybe it's a little different. All right, maybe it's the same. Okay, cool. Great guys. So those are a bunch of companies we got to. Specifically in AI and tech, we had a lot of breakdowns today on those companies. I'm glad we got to jump in. For those of you guys that enjoy the Friday session, I appreciate you all, and I hope you have a great weekend. And just a friendly reminder, if you guys ever want to watch me trade live, join us at Market Open and learn how to invest in the best quantum, AI, and tech-based stocks. We have Stockmates. So Stockmate is the second link in the description. We got the A to Z remote investing blueprint. You get our daily live sessions that happen each day at Market Open. Fundamental analysis, technical analysis, and then also, so in those you get program books as well. You got a private messaging group there. You could send me messages anytime if you have any questions or anything like that. Be more than happy to be a part of your success. We have a sale going on right now, so I would encourage you guys to simply take a look there at Stockmates, that second link in the description. And when it comes to getting the basics down, some of the near term and the long term, you get it all on Stockmate, and we invest in AI, quantum, and tech. And when it comes to the results we're seeing with our members, they're pretty good. And when it comes to the sale, it's actually ending pretty soon. So if you want to take advantage of it, I would encourage you guys, again, simply take a look at the second link in the description down below. Would love to have you there in our live session on Monday at Market Open. Great, guys. Well, happy Friday. Hopefully you have a great day. Appreciate you all. Could end this how we end our daily live sessions and open up a quote. Should we do that? I think we had a quote this morning from Wayne Dyer. You guys seen Wayne Dyer here? There was this quote we had this morning that really hit hard. I'm going to use that at the end of the day. Change the way you look at things, and things you look at change. I love that. That's a good one. Or that wasn't even the one we used. It was a different one. Wait, was that it? I don't know if that was it. I thought it was a different one. Change the way that you look at things, and the things you look at change. I think that was it, actually. I love it. Awesome, guys. Well, I appreciate you all. Hopefully you have a great weekend. Thank you. Thank you. How many of you guys got some good value? Awesome. Yeah, happy to turn you on to Big Bear. Glad you're getting good results. Hey, appreciate that. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Thank you, Prime. Thanks, Fanith. Thanks, Thibaut, Fabio, Gary. Happy to have you in here. Thanks, Daryl, Johnny, Sammy, Shad, Tristan, Shaji. Appreciate you all. Have a great weekend. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Oh, and hit that like button if I earned it.